Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Big League Breakdowns for day 26 of Around the League in 30 Days as we go to the loo to check on the
Um,
Cardinals. I
I
knew
want a
Bobby
new
would.
intro.
I knew Bobby would like that one.
Some
Uh,
of the worst City Connect jerseys that were designed.
yeah, you could say that again. But spring training
More
jerseys or
City
batting
Connect. Oh
practicing.
god.
So bad.
We
Our pinstripes are windy and thin like the river.
Like a noodle.
uh, the St. Louis Cardinals preview in 2025 looks a lot different than they did back in their heyday. As we look at their lineup heading into this season, it's a little bit barren, if you will. Mason Wynn at the top. What are you gonna say, John?
He looks like he's like, I don't know what this
Who
lineup is
the
either.
fuck are you guys?
Lars Nootbaar, one of the best names in baseball at the two spot. Wilson Contreras moving from catcher to first. Nolan Arenado. There will be talk about him in this episode. At the three, down at the bottom, Jordan Walker. Can he figure it the hell out this year? On the bench, Nolan Gordon. Jose Barrero comes in. And looking at that pitching staff for the Cards in 2025, Sonny Gray back again after, God, what is it, 2 years ago now? His Cy Young season. Didn't really
It was two
replicate.
years ago, yeah.
Yeah, didn't really replicate that last year, but that's all right. Eric Fetty, Miles Mikolas, Andre. Oh god, Palante is a. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Zoom tight.
Palante, Steven Matz.
Tight.
Bullpen doesn't change much outside of Phil Maton, who actually pretty good signing for them. Comes in Phillies legend Jojo Romero in there as well. Ryan
Red
Helsley.
Bull sponsor. I'm waiting for that.
Ryan Helsley still the closer for this team in 2025. And that is your opening day projected lineup and rotation for the Cards as we get into the storylines. What the hell is the direction for the Cardinals in 2025? This
Well, I
is
can be really quick with this.
yeah, yeah, your favorite thing to do. Well, I mean, what is their plan?
Their plan is to develop their young guys.
And
It's
suck?
really straight. I mean, I think they're prepared that I wasn't it their GM at the beginning of the offseason, if not their GM, their owner, but one of them said, like, we're gonna go young. We're gonna give our young guys a chance to develop, and we are gonna probably take a step back because of it. So I think they're really at a moment right now where they thought they had the course, or not the core, but the future set with leadership from Arenado and Goldschmidt, but both of them seem to hit their roof with their age and are quickly going downhill. Goldschmidt's now gone. Wilson Contreras has been an interesting case since joining the Cardinals, and now he's out of the catching position at first, but they have a good prospect they like. So we'll see where that goes. But I think they're at this point where, yeah, there's a lot of young guys, and it's weird to me to call them young because I feel like some of them have been around now for a couple of years to the point where I'm like, no, they're not household names, but to this Cardinals team, for me, they're like almost household names. Like, I'm totally for if they want to try to develop the young guys. There's definitely a good handful of them I think have a lot of potential and could take steps back up this year and hopefully not deal with injuries again because they had quite a bit last year. That they could surprise, but no, this whole year really, and I don't love their starting pitching, but this whole year is really just a matter of, we have all these young guys. We need to get them developed. They have some major league experience, and we need to go from there.
Yeah, the Cardinals are a very proud franchise, and they've been one of the best really for a long time. So they are kind of in this, I don't want to say rebuild mode. I think they're looking at it, and I love these two terms, but I think they're looking at it as more of a retooling that they're trying to pull off. They're trying to see what they have in their
That's a
young
new one.
guys.
They need to
That's
figure
a
out
new
their
one.
identity.
That's
No,
that's
it's not a
that,
new one. It's a terrible one.
that's a hockey one right there. They love that. They'll be like, they're not rebuilding, they're retooling.
I've heard it before in baseball
But
too.
but they kind of have maybe some pieces. They have some of their prospects, or really can't even consider them prospects at this point in the MLB. But John, I mean, if we're kind of expecting them to be what we think they'll be this year, which is a below average team who is looking toward the future, do you see them really start, are they going to try to start shipping guys out? Are they going to try to get value? Or are they going to still try to retool this and be, hey, we can be good again in 1 to 2 years? Or are they going to start to try to tear this down and really look for, okay, like, let's try to get back into a World Series window again?
Well, I think that the best thing they could do is honestly to tear it down. That might be the best thing for them is to start focusing on your young guys, getting some prospects in there, and really trying to build a core that will last you to another dynasty. I mean, it's been what, since 2011 for them? That's a pretty long time for the Cardinals to not even sniff the World Series.
Yeah, and one of those guys in that conversation, of course, is going to be Nolan Arenado, who they gave up a boatload to get when he was in Colorado, and he's now entering his age 34 season. Still has 3 years left on his contract, but there was a lot of rumors in the offseason that he would get dealt. Of course, the Yankees being one of the teams that was in that mix. A team that we just did yesterday for our Run League in 30 days, the Mariners could surely use a third baseman. So, I mean, Will, straight up, do you think he's a guy that gets traded this season?
I think the Cardinals are going to try to do everything they can to get rid of him. I have no idea what Arenado I think we're going to get this year, and I think that's going to be the big factor regardless of the years. Sure, teams may still have him for 3 more years. I know at least money-wise, that third season's a lot less. It's like 15 million compared to like the 25 million or something he's getting these other 2 years. If the Cardinals like Jordan Walker and want to really give him a shot and put him back to the position he went through the system in, they should get rid of Arenado. But they have to go with a team that is willing to basically fill a third base hole for a couple years and face the fact that you may still at least get a good defensive Arenado, maybe not a Gold Glove anymore, but outside of that, you gotta expect average numbers from him. There's various teams that could work. There's some teams where the leadership might be nice. But yeah, for the Cardinals, they're gonna try and do everything I think in their power to get rid of him.
You're actually right. So the contract actually isn't as bad. So he's owed 21 this year, but next year it also jumps down to 16, and then in his third year to 15. The other thing
That's
is
even better.
they got to find a willing suitor, but they also have to find a
Detroit.
suitor that Arenado.
I was just thinking that if there's a team that should go after him,
yeah,
I think
Gritty
the
Ties.
Where's your gritty?
Ties.
Go, Tyler. Give your Gritty Ties
Well-
pitch, especially because Jace Jung is starting the season in the minors.
I
so
know it would
go.
be it would be great for them. I mean, what I was gonna say though is it has to work for him too because he has I think a 10-team no trade clause. And I didn't he reject going to the Astros? I think they had a deal in place and he rejected it. Like
Yeah,
back
well,
in
character.
back in like December or January. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So it's got to be a team willing. But yeah, I will gladly state my case for Nolan Arenado to the Tigers.
He's really becoming a Detroit fan more and more.
I really
It's
am.
So
He
funny.
needs someone to follow until the Pirates get out of the gutter, which is going to take a while.
Like, he's not even trying to entertain the idea of Arenado going to Pittsburgh or even, I mean, obviously there's a lot of reasons for that. So he's just like,
Hey,
man,
straight up trade.
I really want to see him in Detroit.
Straight up trade Arenado or Hayes for Arenado.
Look,
There you go.
Oh my goodness.
Stop.
That's bad for both teams. Like, look, I said this, and I'm not going to talk too much about the Tigers, but I said it ad nauseum. The Tigers made baseball fun as hell last year, and that's why I love following them. And this year, for Arenado, you have a team that made the playoffs last year, are looking up. Their young guys are going to continue to develop. They have a hole at third base now. Why don't you come to Detroit? Add some defense, add a little bit of offense. Could be good for you, man. It could be really good for you. So that's my pitch. Also,
It could be good for you.
Kansas City
you know?
Royals. That'd be an interesting one.
That's a good one too. And I was
That
going to
would be
say,
an interesting one.
as
That's
much
this
as
episode. Where are we going to ship them?
as
Like
much
the
as
ba- it's like
think
it's
that's
the
the
Bachelor,
discussion,
except
isn't it?
all the Bachelorettes are the teams.
Well, I think
this
the
rose
better
from
question
Detroit
is
goes to you.
I think
Arenado.
the better question is who doesn't need a third baseman. Honestly,
Phillies.
I think the
Phillies.
Phillies
Orioles.
don't, Orioles, Red Sox,
Red
Yankees.
Yankees
Sox
need
need
one.
Arenado. Add another third baseman to that absolute chaotic mess.
Devers will be out of there. Let me tell you. No, the Yankees need a third baseman. So
Hey, Blue
The
Jays need a
Yankees
third
do need a
baseman, and
third
they want to
baseman.
have some hope.
However,
You know what? Arenado should do what Joey Gallo is currently doing.
be a
Who's
pitcher.
pitching?
What, switch to being a
Become
pitcher?
They could.
Yeah,
The
but what he's
Cardinals
going to
could
do
use
is
the
he's
help.
then going to go over to the
So-
third base and play
so-
defense immediately.
I thought of
Yeah.
a really dumb
The
trade
platoon pitcher.
Here we go.
Oh,
Dumb trade. I
involving-
I
love
like this
dumb.
episode now.
I love dumb trades.
I
involving
need a
the-
graphic for when this happens.
Here's the problem, and
Dumb
it's the
trade.
problem with this team that could potentially need him, and that's the Angels. They have no one that the Cardinals would want, and that's the problem.
They're not.
Also,
They have
Shots right
Moncada
there,
for- They
obviously.
have Moncada for a year, who's going to play the year until Arenado comes back from injury and then gets hurt again.
Rendon, you mean? He's not
Rendon.
on. He's not on that. Look again. I
No,
think
they're
it's
going to put him on the
I
Angels
mean-
now. Just have him. He and Rendon will just share the IL. Just
It's
one
as-
guy's on it for a month. He gets off. The next guy goes on.
it's
Red
as
Zone
much.
goes to
mean,
the Cards. He's all of a
here's-
sudden not hurt anymore.
Here's a great trade if I'm the Angels going
Oh,
after
God.
this guy, because why not? Try to trade Matthew Lugo for Nolan Arenado.
I mean, they're not competing though. He's going to go to a contender, and again, it's got to be on Arenado's terms because
Blue
he's
Jays
got
would
no
be a
trade.
nice dumb one.
I don't know if his no trade is public. I'm assuming it's not because I
It's
would
not. I tried to find it.
I know Houston's on there, but actually
Yes.
maybe they're but he's still rejected or something.
He rejected it at the very least, but yes,
Yeah.
I would assume that would be the reason, because why wouldn't you want to go there? But whatever.
I mean, I would assume the Yankees are on there, and again, I there was a lot of talk about him going there. What are you getting for Arenado at this point is the question. I mean, you're still getting an elite. He might go down as the greatest defensive third baseman in history.
You got to fight John for that.
No, you're wrong already. So
What,
just
man?
stop.
What, Manny?
Brooks Robinson.
No, I know.
No,
I-
Brooks
I- I know.
Robinson. What are you talking
I
about?
wanted to get him fired up about Manny.
Wow, that is not the hill to die on with me. I could care less about Manny.
But-
Brooks Robinson, on the other hand,
say his name enough times and it'll fire
Dude,
you
Manny
up. I
Machado
know.
was a defensive demon in Baltimore. But no, I
yeah,
think
he was.
I mean, he was a demon.
Was.
Yeah, he was a demon. End of sentence. Absolutely.
And he did defense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
sure
did
as
that
hell put a
defense.
glove on. He put a glove on, all right.
Oh, he took the gloves off way too often.
But considering 16 straight Gold Gloves, I think, sir, you can, take your best defensive third baseman argument and shove it.
Yeah, I want to see Brooks Robinson making the plays that Nolan Arenado does out there.
Look up the 1970 World Series tie, and you'll see the exact.
Was he
play.
Bobby, research.
making jump throws from the other dugout? I don't
Yes!
think so.
Have you
I don't-
seen? Have you seen?
I
the
don't
clip?
know, man.
Oh my god!
What is Robinson's defensive war?
all the baseball highlights and all the baseball games that we can watch for free, and the first thing I'm grabbing is the 1970 World Series.
Mother.
Absolutely.
Oh boy, you are gonna lose this one, buddy.
no.
Oh.
Regardless, hold on. We're going in too deep.
His
No, we're
WAR
not.
is a 78.3.
Nope, you
All
lost.
right.
You brought up war. You lost already. You
Well, I
brought
brought
up
up. I brought up war. to
He
get him
brought up
This
started.
is
war.
war.
But I said defensive war, not overall war. Defensive war.
Oh my
Run
god!
saved
Fine.
even.
He wants the
Fine.
D.
Diving plays. Amazing top 10 plays. Do you have that?
What happened to just putouts and error rates? Goodness.
You
Not
want to
this.
find amazing plays with Brooks Robinson? Really? Why am I getting baited into this? Let's go back to Nolan Arenado.
No, and
Good
look,
Lord.
I've been trying to because what if a team is trading for him, right? What can they really expect from him? Again, entering his age 34 season. Well, you're such an antagonizer. What can a team expect from? Well, I'll ask you first. So you can
Uh-oh.
have something productive to say. What is the team getting from this guy in 2025?
250, 260 hitter. You might get around 20 home runs, but the one thing you're going to get is above average defense. So if he can get his defensive run saved or whatever back up close to 10, I think it was about 6 last year. I haven't looked at the outs above average too much, so sorry everyone that likes that stat too much. Then I'd say you'd be happy with a 20 home run 250 guy and good defense.
Yeah. And again, there's teams out there that need that. And if you're the Cardinals, John, like, I think, I mean, obviously they made an attempt to trade him, but I think when you're looking at what they're going after, looking for the future, this guy's going to be 35 this year. Really doesn't fit that mold, and they're not going to be contenders while this guy is. You can't really even say he's in his prime anymore, but even like still playing, right? Like, so what's the incentive for them to get rid of him? Like, you're probably going to get some good prospects out of it.
I don't know
Again,
about that. I mean, you'll get maybe a good prospect, and the rest is, you know, kind of how should I put it? Maybe less than, but then again, baseball is also a crapshoot when it comes to prospects, draft picks, whatever. Like you could be great on one team and terrible on the next, and vice versa. So I mean, you might have a point there. The problem is that he's 34. He's not who he once was. So the question is, what are you hoping to get? I think you're just trying to dump the contract at this point.
If
yeah,
you're willing to eat up a good portion of that contract, then you might get a good prospect or good-ish prospect. But at this point, I'd say you'd be lucky to get anyone above the top 5 in the teams. Maybe you'll get them around their 10th best or 8th best prospect or something. That's about it.
yeah. Again, I think he fits the mold of a guy that is interested in the other teams, and he's not really a part of what you're going for. And there is other players that we'll get to in a second about that. But I do first want to talk about guys like Gorman and Walker, who were once top prospects for this team. And you got a lot of that on this team, right? Like there is a lot of young guys. So what can they do to really those guys in particular, Will Walker and Gorman, what can they do to step it up? But all around, like Win being another guy and Herrera, like what can I guess we really expect from them in 2025? Or again, is this another year of just, hey, we got to see what we got in these guys?
Well, I have notes on Gorman and Walker, so John can take Win and Herrera. For Gorman,
All
he
right.
seems to be a 250 or lower average guy. Like even when you look into his minors a little bit, I think maybe it might have been the 270 a couple times. But he is a power guy. That's absolutely without a doubt. Obviously didn't do much last year, but he was very nice season for I guess really his first full season the year before. So Gorman's someone that I think he can get away with a low average, preferably not Joey Gallo low or Chris Davis low, since this episode's all about the Orioles. But if he
We're
can
talking about
be
a different bird, guys.
230s,
Jesus.
240s, guy, but he can hit 30 plus home runs and give you 90 plus RBIs, and I think you'd be okay with that, and it would give you a big thump in the lineup, something that's really missing right now. As for Walker, I think he got into a situation where he probably was pressing over not having. I mean, it wasn't a terrible at all rookie season a couple of years ago, but it weren't really the numbers I think he was accustomed to. And last year, his chase rate went up as his strikeout rate elevated by 5%, and his walk rate went down by 3. He also was not hitting as many line drives. And his big issue, of course, not big issue, but one of his things is that he's been playing a position that he didn't go up the system playing. He was a third baseman, and because Arenado was a roadblock, he was made into a right fielder, and he hasn't been the greatest right fielder, too. So I think he just needs to get back into hitting line drives, not trying to hit home runs, whether it's dropping your shoulder, chasing pitches, whatever. I know it's easier said than done, but if you want to be successful and find a sense of who you were, then I think those are the things he needs to do. And I'm a little doubtful.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy with Walker because in 2022 he's the 30th ranked prospect in the top 100. 2023 he's the 4th. And even Gorman in 2022, he was the 33rd. So these are guys that like not only within the Cardinals organization had high expectations, but also within the MLB. And Gorman, as you alluded to, is more of, he can hit home runs for you. But Walker has been really underwhelming and is a guy that's been talked about, as like a great player. Granted, Jordan Walker is still only 22, so there is definitely time for him to turn it around. Will it be in the outfield, or if they ship Arenado out, maybe they try, him at third base again? But there still is a lot of time for him and Gorman as well to turn things around. But yeah, and then John, looking at their other guys on this roster again, Mason Wynn and Herrera, Brendan Donovan, even though I think he's closer to 20, he's like 27 or 28, Victor Scott, but like these other guys, is it just a case of, all right, these are the guys we're going to be going with, or again, we're just seeing what we have in these prospects, if you will?
Well, let's. I'm gonna start with Mason Wynn here. Probably the most popular name on my half of the group assignment, since I was assigned Herrera and Wynn from Will. So if I'm looking at Mason Wynn's batting average and looking at his on base percentage, honestly, I see nothing wrong here. Batting 267 last year, on base percentage of 314, and slugging percentage of 416. Uh, and in the field, he has a fielding percentage of 972 career, 980 in 2023, and 971 in 2024. So clearly he's one of their top prospects, both at the plate and also in the field. And honestly, Herrera is roughly the same thing. Batting average of 301, on base percentage 372, slugging percentage of 428. He only hit 5 home runs last year, but also only played in 72 games. So I think having him actually get into more games will definitely be a benefit. His fielding percentage is actually a 995 career, which is really good. So these guys clearly can field their position at catcher and and shortstop, respectively. Sorry, I had to double check that. I was like, wait a minute, he's a shortstop. I'm talking about Mason Wynn. So yeah, clearly you have something there and you just want them to take the next step. I mean, Donovan, his batting average 278, on base percentage of 342, 417, but because of his age of being 28 years old now, probably, or 27, going to be 28, I don't know if he really fits in that prospect mold, more so just I don't even know what you would call it. I don't want to say a veteran, but a somebody who's been at least in the system. You know, you have that. You have you have him there. The problem is that you can't. He's too old to be a rookie, too young to be a veteran. So what is he? That's the ultimate question. And you're kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded. I've got to be honest right now. He has the numbers here, the career numbers that would really make him uh appetizing, let's put it that way, to another team, to a team that is looking for a platoon guy, where he can play left field, second base, and even third base. So maybe that's who a team like the Tigers go after if they don't think they can get Arenado in terms of third base and solving that issue. But yeah, just overall, here's the thing with the Cardinals. They remind me a lot of the Orioles a couple years ago, where you have these prospects, you have these young guys, and you're just looking for them to keep improving, keep advancing, don't take a step back, and then they'll be fine.
Yeah, and again, I want to go back to, and I know I'm going back a couple years now, but like their prospect rankings for 2022, the Cardinals has all four of these guys on there. Walker was your one, Gorman was your two, Herrera was your four, Wynn was your five, and you're talking about a team that sounds like they really want to stay in house, develop their prospects and stuff like that. This makes a lot of sense, and once again, I mean, these guys feel like they've been around for a while. Walker's 22, Gorman's 24, Herrera's 24, Wynn's 22. So there is still a lot of growth that can be had. It's just, can they be developed is the question. And, we'll have to see what happens with that. Because again, it does seem like they're kind of committed to staying in-house, building up their resources and their prospects and going from there. So,
And that's
going
the
off
thing when
topic
it
for a
comes to
second.
what's that?
can I say something on
Oh.
topic real quick?
Fine,
Yes.
that's more
I think
important.
that would be dangerous for the NL Central if the Cardinals can develop these young guys. Having that almost small market mindset of developing your young talent in house and making them superstars, and then throwing money to bring in these high end free agents to really back them up
Yeah.
and support them. That could be dangerous. And, well, sorry, Ty, but your Pirates still ain't winning a World Series.
I knew that. What was your off-topic question, Will?
I want to throw in competition between Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neill Cruz, and or Ellie De La whatever. I'm
Ellie De La
tired.
Cruz.
Okay,
Yeah, I was
all
right. And Mason Wynn to see who throws the hardest in the Central.
Yeah, there
Ooh,
is.
I
Can we
mean,
just
Cruz
get rid
is
of the entire
O'Neill
All-Star game
Cruz
for
is
it?
not a shortstop anymore, so I can't
Yes.
put it as a competition of the shortstops. But these guys
Yeah.
slinging it 100 miles an hour.
When
And
it
that becomes like what the NFL like during their like All-Star stuff. It has the like competitions or
Pro
whatever.
Bowl games.
Or,
Yes.
hockey
Great.
with
We're just
hardest
gonna
slap shot.
great. We're just gonna make it something that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The only all-star thing that
All-Star
actually
game
does
doesn't matter anyway, so make
Right,
the
it
home
doesn't,
run derby day.
but it
Make the
does.
home run derby into a day of festivities that ends with the home run derby.
Oh dear God!
Wrapping
I
up
think you just made this a holiday.
for a holiday. Wrapping
Yay,
up the
baseball
cards.
holiday! I'm not mad.
That's what opening day should always be.
It is if you go to Cincinnati.
I mean, the cities around the globe should have the day off for opening day.
I agree. There's not
I'm
like
gonna try to leave work early this week.
dude. Okay, real quick before we
Or
wrap
next
this up, I'm like
this week. No, when this
I-
episode comes out this coming week, I think.
I'm not. I know I do a baseball podcast, so maybe this should be my favorite sport. I wouldn't even say that baseball is my favorite sport. I would say like football.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that considering
That's why
you
he's the
refuse
host
to
and
wear
not an
anything
analyst.
baseball 22
Listen.
episodes into this month.
Listen, I wore my Pirates,
Pirates.
stuff last time, so
He wore his baseball stuff for the worst thing that he had to talk about. That man
He
came
wore
dressed
for
up
his
for the
rants.
job.
Look, I think there's
Suit and
other
tie.
sports. There's other sports that I like, and baseball I do love. But I
God
will
forbid.
say,
Thanks to the
there is
Tigers.
nothing like opening day for baseball. The weather is breaking. It's spring is here. Baseball's here. The sun is shining. There's nothing like it, and I will fully get behind having the day off for
Today's
the
the
country.
day. The sun is shining.
It's
The
so
tank is
good.
clean.
It's so good. All right, let's actually get back on track with the Cardinals. Wrap this up. Well, we just did this with our the Giants episode, which we recorded tonight. A secret, but will be coming out
Really?
2 days earlier.
I don't
They
know.
won. They won a lot more games than we thought. The Cardinals won 83 games in 2024. Was it their
All
division?
you guys were thinking, except for like me and John, they'd win like 87 games and be potential
Well,
division winners.
yeah, I was still
That's
on
fine.
that train. But then, like when you look at their roster this year, it's like, wow, that team won 83 games last year. Pagoda projects them at 78 wins. Again, this is a retooling year, if you will. But do they get anywhere close to it this year?
I see him getting anywhere from 75 to 90 wins.
Thank you for that range. That really helps us
One
out.
is a number I picked, the other is what it could be if everyone was progressing the way that the Cardinals hope they will. But I don't know. I do like their bullpen. That's one thing I will say. We didn't really talk pitching with them because honestly, there really isn't much to talk about pitching wise, and their starting rotation looks really bad to me. But I do kind of like the bullpen. But they're gonna probably be one of the last, if not last, they're gonna be fourth in the division. I see it being kind of a clump at the top as some teams are fighting for first, and then the rest are gonna be under 500.
So you're talking about the Pirates and the Cardinals, and then the rest will be fighting for the one spot. That's what I hear, and that's what I agree with, to be honest with you. Uh,
Your
John,
words, not mine.
78 wins. Is that fair for them, or I don't know? It feels like it could be less looking at this lineup.
I think definitely that's fair. Like I said, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm looking for this team to really make steps. Um, almost, I almost want to say individual steps are more important than overall team steps. Having 83 wins last year with arguably the same exact team is impressive.
They had Goldschmidt.
You're right; they
Who
did have
sucked
Goldschmidt
for the first part of the year.
Anyway, so you could argue that it was impressive to have 83 wins. I don't think they really regressed. I don't think they will regress, but I don't think they're going to be a playoff team. I'm going to go 80, 85 wins, roughly, roughly around the same.
Hey, you said
I'm
75
going to be
to
10
90.
less. I'm going to say 75.
Oh, so you're going on the lower end of your spectrum now. Okay, I see.
I'm going to go they progress to 85. There you go. That's a
Wow.
All right, Tyler, you're
win.
95 or 65. Pick a number.
65 for sure, not 95. I'll say that. Quickly,
All right, says the Pirates fan.
It'll be more than the
And then
Pirates.
the Pirates
probably.
have 63.
Exactly. It'll be more than the Pirates. Quickly, I do.
Are you going to ask Bobby anything
No,
regarding
I'm not.
this?
No.
Or
No,
He's the fourth host that is
here
there
just
for
to
fun.
upgrade the looks of the show. That's all.
Right.
He's the looks of the
here.
podcast.
that low bar, but yes, he is. Well, talking about starting pitching quickly, do you think a guy like Sonny Gray gets dealt this season too, if they're really trying to be young?
I think there's a chance. I haven't really heard his name thrown around, but I mean, he's definitely someone that at the trade deadline, if he continues to perform like a top of the rotation esque pitcher, that you could get a pretty decent haul from him for him.
I just feel like they got to make a decision. Are we retooling or are we rebuilding?
I think they're retooling. It's just,
but
they're
he's
gonna pick and choose.
35. Like that's the thing. So that's what I'm not sure about. Like
A contender
Mm.
would. There's a contender somewhere. I think that would
Okay.
like it, and heck, he might go back to like the Yankees right now, given the Yankees pitching situation.
Yeah, I guess that's my
you
question.
bite your tongue, your face hole. Bite it.
That's what I guess that's the question I'm asking with them is like, how far are they going to go? Are they going to try to get value for a guy like Sonny Gray or Miles Mikolas? Like again,
should.
Miles Michaelis, they're screwed.
Michaelis, yeah.
No,
he's 36 as well, so
he's 36. His numbers are going up badly. He's last couple of years he's been among the league leaders, if not the league leader, in like hits allowed and runs allowed. He's done.
yeah. Again,
He's the next Patrick Corbin.
My question is, do they want to put a team around their young guys that can potentially win or at least give you more wins than the alternative? Or are they trying to, dump these guys, get whatever value they can, lose the contracts and rebuild? That's I guess
think
my question.
last year was their attempt to try to put guys around your young guys to be a playoff team when they had Gibson, Lance Lynn, and Sonny Gray. And that did not work out. And so they said, screw that idea. We're just going to see what these young guys could do. And the old guys, hopefully someone will take them.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is all we have for the Cardinals. That actually took a lot longer than I thought.
The Cardinals stuff because this half of this episode wasn't even about the Cardinals.
It was about
it was great.
Buck Robinson.
Yeah, the best defensive third baseman in the history of baseball, Ty, and I got numbers to prove it.
Keep cooking.
For great hot takes and takes of our podcast, you can follow us on Twitter.
Great hot takes.
Breakdowns.
That's not a great hot take. That was a cold take. That was horrible.
Big league breakdowns everywhere else.
That dish was so overspiced it was ruined. Ruined.
I think I'm gonna say just like cold leftovers heated poorly. Nice and hot
so
on the outside,
Manny
but
Machado
inside
was
it
actually
sucks.
Mr. Oriole.
Get out of here. I hate you all.
If you liked the video for whatever reason, like it, subscribe to the channel as we progress.
You know what? Hey,
shut up!
No, you shut up.
No, we're
Hey, put in the
Bobby's
comments.
got the mute button.
Put in the comments who you think is better. Brooks Robinson
And
or
then
any
put
other
Mike Schmidt
schmo.
as the right answer.
Mike Schmidt. Okay. Phillies legend. Actually, Phillies legend.
Mhm.
Actually,
God, episode or not episode? I keep saying day 26 coming up next. The Tampa Bay Rays. We will see you then. But until next time, take it easy. John, what do they have to do?
They have to wear their seatbelt, and you, sir, don't need to wear yours.
Oh my! See you next time.
Tyler's going through the windshield on the way to Tampa. He'll take a twister on the way.